we're taking a break. Not a long break, but we're going to new places, getting new experiences, doing new things, getting ourselves refreshed, ready for the fray for the next 11 months of 2022. We'll be back well refreshed with a brand new persona, a brand new look. So we're only on holiday for a week, and then we'll be on top of the world. So join us in a week's time. Mirador Television. Watch us in February. Toodle pip. Well, not entirely away, and I can see that there's on the background is there a picture, and my good friend Aaron Blackburn, who sometimes tunes in, says, Keith, that's very disturbing, so let's turn that off to begin with. But what we are going to do is we're going to have just a little bit of a rant, just for a few minutes each morning to keep us fresh and bright and getting angrier and angrier as the days go by with our leadership until we start new programs, new look. Well, not a new look, you'll still see my bloody ugly mug, but what the hell? That's what you get, what you ask for. Well, I'm glad I took a little bit of a day off. Well, we didn't actually. We went to move some equipment around yesterday, and then I started to feel quite ill. So the rest of the day I took off. Perhaps I should have made it a holiday. I've woken up this morning. I'm not sure how I feel yet. It's a bit early. No, it's not early for me. I was awake at 5 o'clock, of course, and looking at what was happening in the world as usual. That's my want. I like to find out, at least on the surface, what's bothering people and what is in the news, whether it actually suits me or it doesn't suit me. And I'm not at all sure that anything suits me right now. I'm a real misery guts, and not feeling on top of the world makes you even more of a misery guts. But that's okay too, because this little spot during this week is for a misery guts. It's for me, right? The mouth that roars. Call me Mr. Keith. Oh, that movie was on the other night. Call me Mr. Tibbs. They call me Mr. Tibbs, with Sidney Poitier as the detective caught in a redneck southern town with Rod Steiger as the sheriff. A very, very good movie, a powerful movie. But I posted, I just love little quotes that turn me on and infuriate 90% of the population. But I was watching the Foyle's War last night, and I got really excited because there was a scene where a young tearaway kid is taken just temporarily to a convent to be looked after, and he says to the nun, "Why are you wearing that silly habit or that silly uniform, that silly dress?" And she says, "It'll be even." What was her response? You'll find out how silly you feel when I give you the back of my hand. I give you the back of my hand was wonderful. A nun saying to a kid about 7 or 8, right? You're going to get a clip behind the ear. Isn't it about time, with the crime rate rising the way it is, that we got back to clipping kids behind the ear? Yeah, I know. There'll be all sorts of liberal people with a little L. That's not political at all. The little owl that will say, "How dare you suggest such things?" Well, I dare, because I'll tell you, whatever this present system is, it's not working, and it's not working right throughout our entire society. What are the headlines this morning? A failure of leadership and zero shame, and they've got a picture of Boris. Yes, he may have failed as a leader, but who else is there? And I was looking up the Aesop tales, which was 320 BC, for the quote, "Be careful what you wish for." It's something like, "Be careful what you wish for, you just might achieve it." And there are so many people who are wishing for Boris to fall flat on his face and then be replaced. Replaced with what? I have not seen anything worthy to replace Boris. He may be an awful leader, but the rest are wimps. They've all played politics. And what's going on in the world, right? Well, at least Boris has gone out to the Ukraine to find out what the hell's going on, and perhaps even be able to talk to the Russians, who knows. But he's gone there to take a look. And that is a serious issue. The fact that we may be at war with Moscow, with Russia, very seriously. And who's taking it? Where has been anything said by any other politician? Well, it's been tucked into the background, if it has been said. And it doesn't matter which party you're talking about or whether it's local or not. By the way, locally, I should congratulate, here I go again, New Haven, their council, and the Lewis District Council, because you don't do anything in New Haven unless you thank Lewis District Council, for God's sake, and probably the local MP, because they've got a lot of money, and the regeneration of New Haven Town Centre begins today and is expected to be completed in 2004. What I've seen of the plans doesn't exactly inspire me, but there we are. Perhaps I will be proved wrong. I often am. But well done. At least something is being done. So there is some leadership being shown there. Good leadership, bad leadership, mediocre leadership, who knows? Let's put the jury out. But before they start strutting, which of course they've started to do, let's just see what's going to happen. But what's happening nationally is rubbish, right? And the newspapers, it grieves me, because I'm a journalist and I lived through a golden age. I lived through a golden era of journalism, when it really mattered that you got things right, and it mattered that you brought people to account, right? The Metro, a failure of leadership with Boris again. The Mirror, zero shame. Right, okay. What did they? How many parties he had, and so on and so forth. Not whether, in fact, his leadership is lacking, or if leadership generally is lacking. No. They've got to zero in on the damn stupid personal thing. The Daily Mail now published the whole damn thing. Well, that's more or less the same thing. Police investigate the Prime Minister's full lockdown party, says the Times. What a rubbish paper that's turning out to be. The Guardian, you might expect. Failures of leadership. Tories turn on the PM over the Grey Report. Well, they may be reporting the accurately what's going on, but for God's sake, can they please start to ask the question is, if you want him out, who's going to take over? Be careful what you wish for. Aesop, right? 320 BC. That's when an age of wisdom, for God's sake. How many years ago is that? I'm not going to calculate. The Daily Telegraph, the PM to ask Grey for a new report. Oh, my God. Here we go again, right? And they all think that it's so important. They live in that bloody bubble. What about mental health? What about homeless? What about the NHS? What about transport? What about this, that, and the other? We've got 1,000 things that are wrong with our society, and nobody, no leader, local or national, has piped above the parapet to say, hey, this is my vision. They're all scared silly that they'll lose their bloody jobs. Well, I'll tell you, if people start to think like me, and not many do, you'll be thankful for that. But if people did start to think like me, you'd all be turfed out unless we heard the magic word reform, which we never do. Never hear the word reform from a politician. And the mayor of New Haven was graciously on this programme a couple of weeks or so ago, and I said to her about reform, and she said, I doubt if it'll ever happen in my lifetime, and she's a young lady. How depressing, how very depressing, because we've got to live with all this nonsense and this rubbish far beyond my years will take me. And I feel sorry for those people who are going to inherit it, because leadership, we don't have any, and we're not likely to have any. And is it possible? Yes, it is. We did have it at one time. Some of it was dreadful. Some of it was excellent. Some of it was inspiring. Some of it was depressing. But it was leadership. And there was a feeling generally of statesman's-like approach to things, not the political, what's in it for me type of thing. And my party right or wrong. For God's sake, get off the bloody pot. Get with it. Let us see some leadership. Leadership, leadership, leadership. That's what we're calling for. Leadership. Even the press isn't calling for it. The PM pleads for his job. Financial Times, and you think Financial Times would get it better, is Johnson rejects calls to quit after Gray's scathing report on the parties. Yes, I know. You'll say, well, what the papers are doing is that they're reporting what's actually going on. But surely, if they are doing any sort of investigative reporting whatsoever, they can go and talk to somebody and find out if the word leadership comes up. Leadership, leadership, leadership. Reform, reform, reform. Nah. Was it 2 parties or 10? Was it a cake ice or was it not? My God, it really bothers me that this is the state of affairs that we've got to in this country. Yeah, I probably will get a bloody heart attack with all these rantings and ravings, and I'll be accused in all quarters of becoming an anarchist. I even said, Mick Symes, a man I enormously respect, and he takes criticism just, he just soaks it up and gets on with it. He's a real character. Even he sent me a note yesterday and said, Jesus Christ, you're going off half-cocked, aren't you, a wee bit? He's right, I am. But isn't it better to go off half-cocked and try to get to somewhere near the truth than to go on and on about an ice bloody cake and how many parties the Prime Minister had? I can just see Russian troops marching down Whitehall and people shouting at them, do you want an ice cake? It was selling one for 3 and 6pence. Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm mad. I'm a little mad. Yes, I am. I'm not feeling 100%, so that helps to make me angry. And I am angry. For God's sake, will somebody get a grip somewhere? Thank you. I would appreciate it. And I know that there are half a dozen other people who would appreciate it. Incidentally, I put up a little thing yesterday about the truckers in Canada and Trudeau, for whom I've never had much time, and I had even less for his father, whom I was in Canada and reported on for a number of years. They're flim-flam artists. But the fact of the matter is many people have come back and said, yes, but I've got an aunt who says. Yeah, well, that's dividing Canada too, because my relatives say that this protest, it may have been led by truckers, but it is representing a lot of the things that Canadians are worried about, and a lot of the things that Canadians are worried about are the things that we've been worried about, and particularly the loss of freedom, the imposition of what, to all intents and purposes, was martial law during lockdown. Those are the things they're worried about, those are the things that I'm worried about, and those are the things that the rest of you should be worried about, the loss of freedom. It's happening in Canada, it's happening here, undoubtedly in some states, if not right across the United States, it'll happen there. But the rise of Donald Trump again makes me think that the leadership in the United States at all levels is failing. Well, that's only a guess. Haven't talked to my good friend Melissa this morning yet. Haven't talked to my serious commentator Mark Landsman. I haven't talked to Suzanne Mouchot, who's got her ear to the ground when it comes to New York and the way of life there. Anyway, I think that we want leadership. I think we should have leadership. I think we need somebody to get a grip, and I think we desperately, desperately, desperately need the system to be reformed. I'm not talking about a constitutional monarchy. I'm all for that. But a system is only good as the people you've got in it. And most of them have lost my respect so far. Toodle pip. Cheers. Whatever. Yeah. I'll go. I should go back to bed, but I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to